All right, let's talk about one of the weirdest, most unforgettable stories ever written, Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis. It all starts with maybe the most famous opening line in all of literature, and today we're going to unpack the truly strange and tragic story that follows.
And here it is. Bam, just like that, the story throws us right into the deep end. There's no explanation, no warm-up, just Gregor Samsa waking up one day to find he's become, well, a horrible vermin. The central crisis of the story just lands in our lap completely out of the blue.
So what's so wild here is the immediate clash. You've got this absolutely grotesque new reality, the armor-like back, the squirming legs. But then look at what he's actually worried about. His train, his boss, his parents' debt. I mean, his body is this monstrous thing, but his mind? It's still stuck in the hamster wheel of his everyday human anxieties. Right. So, an unbelievable morning. You'd think his first reaction would be, screaming? Existential dread? Nope. His first thought is pure panic about being late for work. He's a traveling salesman, and his biggest fear isn't that he's a giant bug, but that he's going to miss the train.
And this right here, this is the core of what we call Kafkaesque. It's the absurd. It's this bizarre, almost comical conflict between a totally irrational event, turning into a bug, and the completely rational, mundane human reaction to it. It's that mashup of the nightmarish and the normal that makes it all so deeply unsettling. So while Gregor is literally trying to figure out how to work his new bug legs, the real world doesn't wait. The chief clerk from his job shows up. Think about that. 5 years of perfect attendance, and the one morning he's late, they send someone to his house. The pressure from his job, from the outside world, is just relentless.
Okay, a monster in the room. This all leads to the big reveal. After this huge, painful struggle, Gregor finally gets the door open. And there he is. For the first time, his family and his boss see what he's become.
And look at how they react. It's instant. Does anyone ask, "Gregor, are you okay?" No. The chief clerk just backs away in horror. His mother literally faints. And his father, his expression is just pure hostility. They don't see their son or their brother who's in some kind of terrible trouble. All they see is a monster.
And then, to make it all so much worse, he can't even explain. He tries to talk, to tell them it's still him, but his voice is gone. It's just animal noises. So now he's not just trapped in this body, he's trapped in silence. His isolation is now complete. He can't connect with them at all. And then this happens. The very first physical interaction he has with his family after the change is an act of violence. It's his own father who gives him this brutal shove, sending him bleeding back into his room. It's not a misunderstanding, it's a forceful, violent rejection. So, now we enter this new phase, the burden of care. And at first, there's a little bit of hope. After that violent start, one person steps up, showing at least a little compassion. And that's his sister, Grete. But Grete's attitude is like a perfect little roadmap of the family's entire emotional journey. At first, she's trying. She brings them all these different foods to see what the new Gregor likes. It's a real act of compassion. But that doesn't last. Pretty soon, it's not compassion, it's just a chore. And then it's resentment. The love wears off, and all that's left is the burden. And this is a huge shift because, remember, Gregor was the one supporting everyone. He was the breadwinner. Now that he can't work, the whole family dynamic gets flipped on its head. His father has to go back to work, his mother's sewing, his sister gets a job. Gregor went from being the pillar of the family to being their dirty little secret. Okay, the apple and the wound. All of this resentment that's been building up, well, it's about to explode in the single most violent moment of the story. So Gregor accidentally gets out of his room one evening, and his father comes home. And talk about a transformation. This isn't the weak, tired old man Gregor was used to. No, his dad is now wearing this crisp bank uniform, standing tall. He looks powerful, and he is absolutely furious. And this time, it's not just a push. His father starts literally throwing apples at him, one after another. It's a full-on assault, and then one of them hits him squarely in the back and gets lodged in his shell. This is a serious, serious injury, and it's a turning point he never really comes back from. And the worst part? No one takes the apple out. It just stays there, stuck in his back, for over a month. It starts to rot inside him.
It's this festering, visible symbol of their neglect, a constant reminder of his father's violence, and the fact that nobody cares enough to even help him.
All right, so this brings us to the final rejection, the point of no return. It all goes down one night when Gregor hears his sister playing the violin, and the beautiful music draws him out of his room one last time. Now, you have to remember, things are so tight financially that the family has taken in 3 renters. And these guys, they represent the outside world. They're strangers in the house. And their disgust when they see Gregor is really the final straw for the family. So the renters see Gregor, they freak out, and they threaten to leave and not pay rent. And who is it that delivers the final blow? It's Grete, his sister, the one who used to care for him. She's the one who says it out loud. We have to get rid of it. Not him, it. And listen to her reasoning, because this is crucial. She says that if this thing were really Gregor, he would have understood he was a burden and would have left on his own. It's this twisted logic that basically allows them to wash their hands of him. They reason his humanity away so they can get rid of him without feeling guilty. And so we come to the end, freedom and forgetting. Gregor hears what his sister says, and he accepts it. He understands what they want, and he retreats to his room for the very last time. And this is the really heartbreaking part. As he's dying, his body finally giving out, his thoughts are of his family, and he thinks of them with emotion and love. I mean, in his final moments, he is so much more human than they are. He feels love, while they just feel burdened. And what happens when they find him? Grief? Sadness? Not at all. It's immediate relief. They thank God. They take the day off. They go on a trip to the countryside. For them, his death isn't a loss. It's a new beginning. They're finally free, and they immediately start planning their happy future, even noticing how their daughter has blossomed. Which really leaves us with a big, lingering question of the whole story, doesn't it? Gregor's body changed into something monstrous, but his heart, his mind, stayed human. His family, on the other hand, looked exactly the same, but they transformed from a loving family into something else, something cold and calculating, willing to cast out their own son. So you have to ask yourself, who really had the more profound metamorphosis?